Coming off obviously a really good weekend, a series sweep. I'll take that any day of the week. I thought, I was talking to Tex Ags this morning, and we talked about the fact that we kind of won all games three different ways, and I thought that was good. We had a game we had to come back. We had a game where we run rolled, and we had a game that we kind of battled back and forth, and ultimately put them away here on Monday. So, I thought our pitching was very good this weekend, pretty consistent. And really, Shaylee and I talked about this quite a bit. She didn't have her stuff on Monday, but I thought she did a really good job of her composure and competing to help us win, even when she doesn't have her best stuff. And we really talked about that today and kind of moving forward, because that's kind of you're going to have days like that. And I thought, me as a coach or as a fan, I don't think you would have really noticed that she didn't have her stuff. And I thought she did a really good job of competing. And quite honestly, Preston would be the same way. I mean, she gave us 2 and a bit innings of shutout ball, or I guess she gave up 1. Yes, yeah, but did a really good job. And I said, what that does is it enables Kennedy, and the instance of Shaylee, to only have to go through the lineup twice instead of 2.5 or 3. And when you look at that, if Kennedy had to go 2 times through the lineup, then they're seeing her 4 times. So, just those conversations I think are important. I thought we did a really good job of turning over our lineup. Coco was dynamic in I think every facet of the game: base running, defense, hitting, and so. And then I thought Tren, we've been talking to them a lot of just how we can win as a group, as a team. And what I mean by that is, you have runners at first and second, or second and third. We've had that quite a bit. And we're taking outside pitches. And really, we just need a dribbler on that side so we can score. And it's really less about your stats and more about, how can we win at this game, help the program. And I thought Tren's last at-bat, in that run rule game, and even she's had a couple of them where she's just doing a good job of putting together a quality at bat to help the program or the team win a game. So I thought a lot of good things.
Coach, you mentioned Coco was really dynamic. What did you see from her this week that I guess was critical that you guys didn't sweep and just having success?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to be honest. I can't take a lot of credit for Coco's dynamicness, and what I mean by that is really what she sees on the base path. We kind of let her be free. She sees spacing and openings that I think are very unique to an individual at this level. So we let her kind of be free. I think the other thing she did, she filled up that 2-hole for us, I think, very nicely. We're still, I know that sounds crazy, trying to figure out our rhythm, and we are a matchup team, so I will change based on matchups. But she's, gone on that 2-hole. She's hit away. She had, some extra base hits for us. I mean, and then I think defensively, she just played clean. And when Coco plays clean, she plays free, and we get a much better Coco in the batter's box when she plays well defensively. It's funny how those two things are correlated. It's been a conversation that we've had several times. She's had a lot of mama love, I'll put it that way, from me. So you can ask her. I'm sure she'll give you a little giggle.
Sorry, Keely, is getting recognition as well this week as freshman.
Yeah.
So just what has she brought? What did you see from this week?
Keely is just steady. I feel like if you watch her play, there's nothing too high, nothing too low, and she just continues to work. Coach Harger, we give them hitting books. For them to write in whenever they want. And really it's to write in it when you're doing well, so that when things aren't going well, you can kind of refer back. So he might have tested the waters this past week and had them all pull it out so he could see who had written in them. And guess who was the only one that had written in it every single series? Keely Williams. And it was just a really good example of somebody putting in the work, not necessarily physically, but from a mental standpoint, and a checked in, who's a freshman, who literally after every series had a whole page of information of just things she did well, things that she thinks she could work on. And I think when, Coach Harger got a little giddy in that moment, but he was like, that's a recipe for somebody who's going to be very special in 4 years, in her 4-year career. So, huge.
How nice is it to see after a couple weeks of a little bit of inconsistency in the circle
yeah.
to
Yes.
collectively only give up 3 runs on the weekend and just between, I mean, like you said, Shaylee didn't have her best stuff, but got through it, and then Emily Kennedy was lights out.
Yeah. Actually, I'm really excited for Kennedy. I'm gonna probably talk about her a little bit more than probably you would like, but Kennedy, her last, I don't know, 3 or 4 outings prior to this weekend, actually had really good outings and got nothing in return. Actually got the wrong kind of feedback. And, you know, she is somebody that's working really hard on her outlook in life and in the game. It's directly correlated. And I told her, and we've been talking about it, just of like, hey, going out there and expecting to win, expecting to dominate, expecting to be successful versus what's going to happen next. And I felt like this weekend, I saw the Emily Kennedy that we all know that she's capable of being, and it was consistent. And she even got into some tight like spots, and I still felt like I saw that person, and it didn't waver her. And so I'm hoping that is the growth that if I can get Emily Kennedy to be that consistently, she's going to win and lose ball games, but she's going to win a heck of a lot more games with that outlook and that approach to batters than the Emily Kennedy that maybe was here at, you know, spots throughout the year. And I think you enjoy the game more. Like, you know, I felt like she was a little bit freer, I guess I would say, in her adjustments, and just when you don't worry about results and you're worried about how to execute a pitch and knowing that your stuff is better, I think it frees you up mentally a little bit. You have more to go to in your thoughts, right? Like if I'm feeling really, we have like this visual that we have that like as we get tighter and we become more condensed and like negative, you have less to kind of like grab from that's going to help you from your toolbox. But as you play a little more freer and kind of attack, this becomes much bigger and you have more resources to kind of tap into. And so she's been working hard, and honestly I'm just really excited for her that things are working out. So back to your original question, I told you I was going to go on a tangent about Kennedy. I'm just really proud of her, but you know, we're pitching the way we're capable of. Like if we talked like before the season started, I said our pitching is going to have to carry us, and it did, and then all of a sudden it decided to disappear. And I thought we did a heck of a job last weekend against Tennessee, and then obviously this past weekend I thought we did a good job, and we've been in every ball game, you know, and even our midweeks where we didn't do what I thought we were supposed to do in the batter's box, you know, we got a little complacent. Our pitchers held their own, and that was good. And so, you know, I want us to keep building on it and getting better. And obviously we have some tough midweeks coming up, one being tomorrow, that, you know, we're going to have an opportunity. These are all opportunities for us to get better. And that's the other thing of, you can come out here and practice all we want. I love to practice, but really these games, if we can get something and get a little bit better through each one of these games, it's going to really help us at the end of the year.
You touched on it, but, you know, top 10 RPI team coming in for a midweek. What challenges not only does that game present, but then for you guys as teams and staff to, you know, kind of quick turnaround and prepare for that weekend-long matchups and everything you like to do for a series?
Yeah, so it provides a little, I guess you could say, challenges, but for me it's an opportunity. And what I mean by that is we're at our place, right, coming off of a big weekend. Like, let's take that momentum into this Wednesday game. I think they have, you know, a great offensive team from top to bottom. They have a good mixture. They're a lefty-heavy lineup, which I personally like when you look at how we do against left-handed hitting dominant teams. So that's a good thing for us. They run their leadoff kid, 42. I don't remember her name, sorry, but she's pretty dynamic on the bases. She's similar to Coco. But we got Julia behind the dish. I mean, Julia shuts down a lot of run game just with her presence, and so that'll be huge. And then you know, our ability. You know, we've seen really top-level pitching, so I'm not I'm not worried that we are not going to be able to hit. They have 3 very good pitchers. They have a lot more, but 3 that kind of have logged a lot of their innings. But at the end of the day, like we've seen that day in and day out, and so really, we should take advantage of them being on the road, us coming off a good series, and being home at Davis. So, I'm excited for the opportunity, to be honest with you.
So what about the importance of it? Because you will not face anybody with a high RPI until now the SEC tournament.
Right.
If you want to possibly host, you're right now probably outside looking in.
Yeah.
At RPIs.
Yep.
And I know you want to put so much emphasis on one midweek game, but it looks like this is a big game for you guys.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, where you're coming from, but I'm going to be honest with you, I won't even touch it. Like, I won't even talk about it with the team, because really, I preach so hard of I don't care who's on the other side of the dugout. I don't really care if we're, like, we talked about that, the number 1 team or the number 250th team. Like, we come out and play Aggie softball, we're in every single game, and I'll put my money on us every single time. We get into trouble, and I think we've seen that when we start to play, like, who's over on that other side. And so I think if we come out and pitch the game what we're capable of pitching, I think, our odds are good. But at the end of the day, I just want us to play consistent ball. And I think I've said this to nausea to you guys, but really, like, that's how we're going to turn this program into an everyday winning program versus somebody that has a good year or has a good series. Like, it's the consistency of the level and the standard and the tenacity of our program that's going to keep us in the top 10, year in and year out.
They typically play with the chip on their shoulder because they're not a Power 5
Absolutely.
Team. So do you consider them more of a Pac-12 looking team, an SEC team, or Big 12 team, or really haven't done that much research?
Yeah, I think they're a good ball club. I think them and Texas State, are very good. I said Texas State because we play them, later on. But yeah, I guess I don't really rate teams. I really kind of look at like how we match up against them. What can we exploit? What are they going to try to exploit with us? They're going to do a lot of hit and runs, bunt and runs. Like, I think they're going to do some of that stuff. They'll do some delayed steals, just some things like that we have to be prepared for. But honestly, Tennessee was very similar in that way. Like, they had some short game, ability, and they like on the first and thirds. Tennessee likes to do the jog, steal. UL will do that. They'll put people in motion, those types of things. But I don't know. I feel like if we just go out there, prepare, execute our game plan, like we'll be in a good spot.
Just the fact that you're playing like 7 games in 9 days, that Mississippi State, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, right.
Is it any more challenging playing so many games in such a short?
I think if you make it, but I also tell them, like, tired is a mental state. Like, they'll tell you that. Like, that's not really, you're 18 to 22. Like, we can figure this out. So that's an excuse. So I'll tell them, yeah, try is another one of my things. So I'm like, try not to be tired, so they know that I'm being a smart butt to them. So yeah, you either do or you don't. Like, how much do you want this? So, and really, and that's why we have our aura bands. We have a bunch of stuff kind of in place from a recovery standpoint. So we have all these resources. So if you're not taking advantage and getting yourself ready to help this program, then that's on you.
And then looking ahead to, past the midweek and
on to South Carolina, yeah.
Matchups, problems that they present.
Yeah, so I'm a game-by-game girl. But I have looked at them a little bit, They have the one pitcher, I've looked more at their pitching, honestly. The one pitcher, she's thrown one game, a series, really has come into close, but she's pretty firm. She's, upper 60s, low 70s with up, like real up. They just have some, they have the ability to they have a rise baller, they have a kid that goes down, so they have a little bit of, just different looks for us, and us being able to take advantage of those early on versus letting it get into the 5th, 6th, 7th inning is going to be huge. I think any team that punches first and continually punches usually takes the momentum late in the game. Great teams can absorb the punches and punch late in the game. I don't know that we are honestly there yet. So we have to punch, 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 and keep punching. I think when we do that, that's when we are our best. So South Carolina also, you know, they try to lift the ball. I think that ballpark plays a little smaller than ours does. I've never played there, to be honest with you. So that's just what I've heard. But we've got 5 pitchers that I think can give them heck. And so I think that's going to be our task, is to keep them at bay and allow our hitters enough time to come out and, you know, execute. I'd like our short game to show up. That's what I really would like in any game. The Lafayette game, or we've practiced it twice a day. And yes, so it's a little. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to ask you anything specific that you were really focused on working on with them before.
Yeah, we spent the last 2 weeks working on our short game. Can you tell? Yeah. So that would be something that, like, we're just not that team quite yet that can, like, sit in the box like Georgia. Like, Georgia can sit in the box and hit the ball, right? And that's okay, because you can win ball games, and we've shown that in a lot of different ways, right? But, like, that is a key component of us being successful, and we haven't figured it out yet. So hope maybe this week. Like, that's the hope.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you.
Thank you.